Fresh out of university, I made the decision to break things off with my girlfriend, a woman who seemed destined for the spotlight even back then. Everyone knew Elena was going to be a massive star, and they were right. Years later, during a high-profile interview, a journalist asked her point-blank if she had ever truly fallen for someone in her past. Elena didn't shy away from the question at all, immediately answering yes and confirming it happened during her college years. This level of honesty clearly shocked the reporter, who was likely just making idle small talk and didn't expect a media-trained superstar like Elena to admit to any past affections so openly. After all, she had this untouchable aura, and it was hard for the public to imagine anyone possessing the charm or significance to make a woman like her fall in love. Naturally, the interviewer couldn't help but dig a little deeper. This was, after all, breaking news. "So, what happened between you two?" the reporter pressed. Elena went silent for a moment, her eyes seeming to dim as she revisited a painful memory. Just as the reporter, sensing the awkwardness, was about to change the subject, she spoke up. "He dumped me," she said simply. Her tone was dripping with heavy sarcasm. The reporter was so stunned by this revelation that he seemed to forget every other question he had prepared. "So why did you break up?" he stammered. Elena replied with a dark, sarcastic expression. "He said I was blood type B, and so was he. He told me he was afraid that if we stayed together, we would end up having a to-be kid." The reporter looked like she was trying incredibly hard not to burst out laughing at the absurdity of it. Suddenly, the internet practically crashed. The online world was in a frenzy asking, who was the man who dared to dump Elena? Was she still upset over this ridiculous excuse? Honestly, wouldn't you be if you were dumped in such a stupid way? Everyone started speculating on who the mystery man might be. Surprisingly, some people correctly guessed it was me, simply because Elena and I had attended the same university. "I think it's Liam," one comment read. "They were in the same college, and honestly, looking at their visuals, I'm a fan of the pairing." Another commented, "My biggest regret is never seeing these two legends together in one frame." Just then, a newly registered social media account started gaining wild popularity out of nowhere. The account posted numerous candid photos of a popular young actor named Julian alongside Elena, taken back during their campus days. In every single picture, Julian was gazing lovingly at Elena. However, Elena was always shown from behind or with her face obscured, while Julian's smile was gentle, looking at her as if she were the only person in the world. People immediately thought the truth was out. Julian, known as the charming and gentle guy of the industry, was apparently loved by even the top actress. Or so they thought. Comments rolled in saying, "Sure, keep dreaming, think he stands a chance," and "Elena has never been linked with him publicly." Others argued, "You don't get it, do you? They're just keeping it low-key." Male stars often tried to gain clout by associating themselves with Elena, but her agency usually cleared things up within the hour. This time, however, her team remained silent, making people believe the rumors might actually be true. Even Elena's die-hard fans were losing confidence, wondering if she really liked this hot young star whose vibe didn't seem to match hers at all. Soon enough, though, Elena's team issued a curt statement denying any knowledge of the photos and asking for them to be removed. Elena herself posted just 3 words. "Don't know him." It was brief, but those words effectively shattered Julian's world. Elena's fans felt validated. The rumor might have been slow to get cleared up, but they weren't wrong. It was just another clout chaser drawn by Elena's excellence, hoping for a taste of fame. My Julian never said he liked Elena. Why didn't he clear this up then? His fans argued. But it was a losing battle. While these online arguments raged, I did my best to ignore them, focusing entirely on my own career. I had recently signed on for a travel reality show, which seemed perfect for my personal dream of traveling the world. There were 6 guests in total. When I arrived, seeing Chloe approach me with a sense of familiarity made me frown a little. We weren't actually close, but we had worked on a project portraying a couple, which won us a lot of shipper fans who wanted us to date in real life. My manager hadn't mentioned that I needed to promote a fake romance for this show, and seeing her made me uneasy. I remembered Chloe's career wasn't exactly thriving, so she probably hoped to gain some popularity by attaching herself to me on the show. However, seeing Chloe was nothing compared to the shock of seeing Elena. Her presence made me want to bolt immediately. How did things turn out this way? "Liam, long time no see." Elena approached me with a polite, professional smile. I looked at her outstretched hand, returning the smile and lightly touching her fingertips. "Long time no see," I replied. She stayed beside me, stressing me out. Honestly, I still felt a bit guilty after breaking up with her. I recalled the memory of her holding my hand stubbornly at sunset years ago, her eyes filled with unwillingness and hurt. The other guests whispered, "Are they close?" "They seem to be. Both of them have been stars for years, but never worked together. Am I missing something?" They eventually concluded that we knew each other from college, but were maybe not close, which seemed the most believable explanation. I thought the trip would be fun and relaxing, but then Julian showed up, likely chasing after Elena. I didn't like Julian. It wasn't because of Elena, but simply because I found him insincere, and it was hard to stomach his personality. As expected, Julian kept glancing Elena's way. After greeting everyone, he walked towards us, smiling charmingly. "Elena, long time no see," he greeted. Elena politely nodded in response. Didn't she claim not to know him online? Does she have 2 faces? Though Elena was standing behind my right shoulder and I couldn't see her face, I felt like her gaze occasionally landed on me. "Hello, Liam," Julian said to me, polite but cold. Was I judging him too harshly? Suddenly, a light touch on my hand sent a chill through me. I turned, but Elena was engrossed in her phone. Maybe it was accidental. Her hands were always cold, regardless of the season. She used to cling to me, asking to hold hands specifically because hers were freezing. All 6 guests had finally arrived. "Tomorrow we'll catch an 8 a.m. flight to France," the producer announced. "Tonight's dinner is self-catered." "I can cook," Chloe volunteered immediately. Everyone thanked her, but we didn't want to leave her to do all the work by herself. Julian quickly pitched in to help, trying to look good. Elena remained quiet, not talking much, which fit her cool and distant public persona. I knew the truth, though. She wouldn't be chatty like she used to be, sharing every bit of her life with me. I realized with a pang of sadness that I wouldn't get to taste her cooking anymore, specifically her steaks and her rib soup. Chloe cooked a whole table of dishes. Her cooking wasn't fancy, but it was homely. To my surprise, Elena sat next to me. I thought she'd want to be as far away from me as possible. "Am I the only one sensing awkward vibes between those 2? Someone whispered. "You didn't say who, but I think I know who you mean. Is Elena's first love involved?" Chloe brought up the food. "I enjoy spicy food," she said, looking at me. "But Elena is the opposite, right? Her taste is super mild, like chewing wax to me." I remembered that well. I once tried to get Elena to eat a slightly spicy buckwheat square. Because it was me feeding her, she obediently ate it. But right after it hit her tongue, tears filled her eyes from the spice, and even 3 glasses of water weren't enough. That's when I found out she had severe stomach issues and couldn't handle spicy food. Back then, she had curled up in my arms, feeling uncomfortable, but staying quiet and sweet. Liam likes spicy food too, Chloe noticed me grabbing some food and commented with a smile. I love spicy food too. It's kind of a connection for us. Any initial good vibes from her cooking vanished instantly for me. With so many spicy lovers at the table, that topic felt really forced. If it was just for the couple act, I could roll with it. I am an actor for a reason. So I looked at her with feigned surprise. Really? We should definitely do hot pot together sometime. I kept a relaxed, cheerful smile, though I could barely fool myself. The ship I'm rooting for is real, someone whispered. It's sweet. I feel like Liam is dropping hints about dining with Chloe. It must be mutual. Quiet down, Elena's gone mad, someone else muttered. Does Elena eat spicy food too? Chloe asked, trying to be friendly. I instinctively glanced at Elena. She meticulously placed a spicy shrimp in her mouth, showing no emotion, her plate already piled with shrimp shells. She ate the spicy crawfish like a machine, mechanically disengaged as she consumed the shrimp. You've lost it, I suddenly reacted, grabbing the shrimp she was peeling, removing her gloves, and pinching her cheeks. Spit it out. My tone was harsh, probably startling her as her eyes rimmed with red. She obediently opened her mouth, spitting out the barely chewed piece into a napkin. Everyone else looked confused, as if they missed something. Realizing my outburst, I calmed down and explained to the group, she can't eat spicy food and has stomach issues. While speaking, I poured a glass of water and pushed it toward Elena. She drank it obediently. I think I figured something out, a guest whispered. It might not be a big deal even if there's some truth to it. They're already split up. I bet everyone can tell Elena is doing it on purpose, right? Liam saving Elena was a surprise. Thank you, she whispered. After that, Elena remained calm, not causing any more scenes. The others seemed to notice something too, but I wasn't going to explain further. Who hasn't had a messy college romance? Later, while I was smoking on the balcony, Elena joined me, saying she needed fresh air. She gave a little cough, and I frowned, immediately putting out my cigarette, only to see a faint smile tugging at her lips. Was she just smiling because I put out the cigarette? Are they going to get married on the spot? I imagined the fans saying. Welcome to the actress's sly moves. Something seemed off with Elena, though. She looked pale, even sweating. That's what happens when you recklessly eat spicy stuff. Serves her right. Where's the medication? I asked, annoyed but worried about her affecting everyone's mood. No meds, her weak voice replied, sounding exhausted by just those 2 words. She never knew how to take care of herself. Guess it hurts now, huh? I'll ask production to take you to the hospital. No need, she whispered. I tried to ignore her, but then I saw she was curling over from the abdominal pain. Drink hot water, I said, resisting the urge to comfort her physically. Her hands were cold. Drink hot water. Elena pursed her lips, staying silent, clearly not in a good mood. Man, she looked so pitiful, but why did I want to laugh? Liam, just comfort her already, I told myself. Everyone knew I had a pretty big smoking habit, and I often caught flack for it. Without smokes, I was itching, really wanted one. Back then, I quit for Elena. Every time I craved nicotine, I'd kiss her instead. She was far more addictive than cigarettes, even if she kept a straight face on the plane. The next morning, she still sat beside me. I can sulk, but not without my man, seemed to be her vibe. Are you reading Elena's mind? I gotta say, Elena's got a lot of quirks. Motion sickness, stomach issues, fear of ghosts. She might want to get back together, but I told myself I didn't. If we did, people would say I only went back to her now that she's at the top. Liam, I'm feeling dizzy, Elena softly said, turning her head, her eyes showing weakness and discomfort. I forced myself not to meet her gaze, responding vaguely. I wasn't planning to laugh, but when she rolled her eyes at my coldness, I lost it. Liam, can I lean on your shoulder to sleep for a bit? I'm really quiet and won't drool. Clearly, even speaking was hard for her voice much softer than usual. Elena looked at me with that stubbornness just like back in college. I felt stressed, but couldn't help rolling my eyes at her before letting her lean. Elena seemed really uncomfortable, slightly furrowing her eyebrows in pain, her lashes trembling, lips pale. She's changed since then. She used to hide her injuries, never telling me if she felt bad or sick. So thoughtful it made you feel for her. I told her countless times not to hold it in and to speak up. But she never improved, usually only confessing when I got upset. Each time she promised it wouldn't happen again. So seeing her show some vulnerability this time and share how she was feeling down. Surprisingly, I felt a bit relieved. Once we arrived in Country F, our first mission came quickly. Hit up a famous local spot or a trending attraction. Roboto Wildlife Park, right? And come on, couldn't miss the alpha horror-themed haunted house, someone suggested. While in Country F, the directors made it difficult. No transportation provided and no entertainment expenses covered. We had to figure it out ourselves. Pair up and start your adventure. Pairing up. Gotta say, the directors really knew what was trending. With Elena and me tangled up like this, I had no idea what people online must be thinking. Elena stayed by my side. Chloe and Julian glanced over but didn't invite us since it seemed kind of obvious we were a pair. Everyone just assumed we were together and didn't want to intrude. I was thinking about the closest route to the wildlife park, but when I looked at Elena, she was staring at the amusement park map, deep in thought. It didn't seem like she'd want to go there because she's scared of ghosts. I figured we should be democratic, especially since this was all live-streamed, so I asked Elena what she wanted to do. Elena, got any thoughts? I want to go here, she pointed at the haunted house. Is that okay? If not, it's all good. I'll go with your plan. I felt a few lines of frustration on my forehead. Could I really say no after that? I gave her a quick look. All right, horror park it is. We thought about catching a cab, but she didn't seem up for it. I get carsick. It's tough for me. Can we take the bus? But if not, that's okay too. We took the bus, gave the driver a nod of good morning, and stood until our stop. There were lots of people, kind of packed. Elena stumbled a bit and ended up sticking close to me. We stayed like that until we got off. I noticed her ears were red when we hopped off. Kinda cute. At the haunted house, there was a crowd around a nearby table. Some kind of event going on. Couples who participate and take promo photos can get a 90% discount, plus a movie ticket. The big French letters on the sign looked pretty appealing. Liam, but we don't have the cash, right? Elena asked innocently, reminding me of our budget trouble. I side-eyed the meager cash the show gave us, and looked at the haunted house prices for two. Plus we needed a ride back. She got her way again. I caved. But if we don't hold hands, won't they suspect we're not a couple? She whispered, gesturing at the hand-holding, arm-linked couples in line with occasional kisses. Elena reached for my hand, which felt ice-cold. I held it tighter to warm her up a bit. She clung to my hand, a barely-there smile on her lips, quietly sticking by me. But when everything went pitch black inside, she moved closer, trembling a bit. Don't worry, I'm here, I reassured her, rubbing my thumb on her hand. Honestly, the Country F haunted house wasn't as scary as I thought. Kind of boring, even. But Elena was scared, slowing us down. Suddenly, a fake bloody head flew out and an NPC popped out with a screechy "Boo!" At that moment, Elena grabbed onto me, trembling violently, her warm breath tickling my neck, breathing heavy like her heart would burst. My whole body tensed up, thinking the cameras might not catch us in this dark. Gradually, she relaxed, and we finished the house, snagging our movie tickets. She studied them before safely tucking them into her shirt pocket, then drooped like she was suddenly exhausted. "Liam, I don't feel well. Don't want to rush back. Can we just hang around a bit? But it's okay if not." With tickets at a discount, we had some leftover cash. Elena happily trailed behind me with snacks in hand. For some reason, seeing her happy made me happy too. When I noticed my lips involuntarily curling upwards, I knew I was done for. "I want that too," she pointed at some fries. "No potatoes, causes gas, and you've got that stomach issue, remember?" I said sternly. "Fine," she mumbled, seeming a bit down about that. But even when I was tough on her, she seemed oddly satisfied, and her mood improved. I expected Elena to settle after that, but as soon as we returned to the group, she was downright mischievous. "Liam, I was so scared today. Thanks for hugging me." She looked all innocent, but what she said was a bombshell, and I could feel the curious, surprised stares of the others. "No problem," I mumbled. For the next couple of days, I was kind of avoiding her, but she kept coming around. She ran up, clearly excited. "Liam, I caught us home. Fish." I gave a short reply. "Liam, look at my flower basket." No matter how many times I brushed her off, she remained enthusiastic. Eventually, I softened. Couldn't she hold off for a bit longer? I already knew the answer. Who could resist a sweet, pretty, and clingy Elena? At an ice cream stand later, she quickly paid before I could. "Already paid. Maybe take me off the block list, huh?" She grinned as I unblocked her number. Annoying as Elena could be, we were getting closer. I started picking up her calls at night, sharing my plans. All it needed was a spark to make it official again. One morning, my agent called, excited that I was trending. I thought it was because my new show's promo was a hit. Revolutionizing the trends? Boy, was I wrong. Elena was the cause. Her secret fan account, Liam's Sweet Elena, was revealed. Turned out she was one of our biggest supporters. "Hot," the comments said. Liam and Elena might be married. She called him honey. It gave me a headache. Right then, Elena called me. She immediately started apologizing earnestly, so perfectly like she'd been rehearsing it. "I'm sorry, it's all my fault for stressing you out." She even choked up like she was truly sorry enough to cry over it. "No worries, just be careful moving forward," I said, massaging my temples, knowing I couldn't stay upset with her. I thought about coming clean with Elena and going public right then, but my agent suggested holding off to boost the new show's buzz. "Yeah, you got it," I agreed. I just finished shooting one show and jumped right into another. Now I was running around all day and needed to promote one of those shows too. Coincidentally, in this new show, I wasn't the male lead. I was the second male villain. So when I got to the set and saw Elena in a black robe with smoky eye makeup giving me a sweet smile, I froze. She's playing the villain too? Isn't her schedule always packed? "You made it!" She didn't care about anyone else and came running straight towards me. "Some extra!" a young girl shouted excitedly, and everyone started whispering, flashing these weird smiles. Then the director, Chris, scratched his non-existent hair from a distance and came over. "Liam, Elena, practice a bit first. Shoot scene 17, act 2 next." Director Chris chuckled nervously, said that, and went off to find his camera. I vaguely remembered this scene. It's where the second female villain, Olivia, saves the second male villain, Ethan, who's been drugged with some shameful potion on a cliff. I suited up, did my makeup, and just as the previous scene wrapped, it was time for Elena and me. Elena was pinned under me on the couch, while my eyes were red, acting all rough under the influence of the drug, biting and licking her neck. But for some reason, seeing her like that made me blush like an apple. I got all shy. "Liam, what are you doing? Why are you shy? I need a raging beast! A beast!" the director yelled. "You're drugged. You should be angry. I want an angry beast, not a rabbit. And you, Elena, throw a sultry look, can't even kiss? And Liam, you never taught her. You guys need to practice kissing now." Elena and I got chewed out, mumbling in agreement. It really was on us. So I pressed Elena against the makeup room doorframe, lips locked. Still didn't feel fierce. Her lips were soft, made me nostalgic. What the director said was right. I kind of suck at kissing. This wouldn't do if I couldn't get into character. We'll keep dragging this out, slowing down the whole crew. She was kissing me back, and I was thinking about how to feel angry at her. Suddenly, she stopped, gently pushed me away, looked me in the eye and said, "Actually, after we broke up, I dated someone else." "What?" My hand pressed beside her head, eyes wide. "Just half a month after us." I didn't let her finish. I kissed her hard, fearful, like I was stealing all the air from her lungs, until the director called from outside. She bit my lip and stepped away with a sly smile. "How's that state you found? Good?" I replied. Was she teasing me on purpose, or did she really find someone else? What if? In front of the camera, my eyes were red, filled with malice and ferocity, kissing her rough, staring like a venomous snake, trying to see through her. "Cut! Great! That's a wrap!" Afterward, I walked off with a grumpy face like someone owed me millions, not even talking to Elena. She just followed me, looked at me all resentful. When we got to my dressing room door, she couldn't hold it anymore. Okay, I lied. Only ever dated you. Don't be mad, all right?" That smile was so charming, I instantly perked up. I invited her into the room, took her hand, pretended to be all sweet, and said, "Good to know." A guy who specializes in behind-the-scenes footage uploaded the director scolding us and some interaction videos between the main leads online, creating a little buzz. When I saw the script initially, I was dumbfounded and silently wished for a familiar co-star. Turns out I got just that. Someone very familiar. "Cold hands," I muttered, holding her hand with a straight face. Nearby, a group of young extras in their early 20s gawked at Elena and me. I glanced at them. One got pushed forward, blushing, and handed me a poster. "Liam, can you sign this for me? I'm a fan of yours." My fan? She brought our photo for a signature. Clearly a shipper. I signed, and she turned to Elena. "Same deal, same outcome." "Elena, I'm a fan of yours too. Can you sign?" Elena penned her name under mine, and the girl bowed 90 degrees, said thank you, and ran back giggling with her friends. "Liam, there's a part I don't get. Can we go over it?" Elena asked. This is just an excuse to kiss, I thought. I knew it after countless times of her intentionally messing up kissing and hugging scenes. I finally found liberation, because we finally wrapped up shooting. At the wrap party, Elena stayed put, occasionally putting food on my plate. "Liam, when are you going to make it official, huh? The director just laid it out for everyone," someone teased. Elena perked up, piled more food on my plate in anticipation. "We're not together," I said, and Elena visibly deflated, looking at me with eyes all sad, but kept serving the food. "Elena's so good. Don't miss out," I heard her softly agree. Yeah, I know," I said. But when I got back from the restroom, something was off with Elena. Her cheeks were flushed, eyes dreamy like they carried stars bright just for me. I glanced at her glass. It was mine, with wine. Though judging by the amount, she barely took a sip, but she never drinks, so even that was enough. I apologized to the table, took her away, and everyone else just gave me those "I get it" looks. "You really ain't worried about your stomach issues," I scolded gently. In the cab, she hugged my waist, resting on my shoulder. She seemed just as drunk as if she'd had 2 full bottles. Luckily, she could still walk fine on her own, didn't need me to prop her up. She just trailed behind me, all obedient. I watched her clumsily take her shoes off and cover them with socks. Then she stepped into my place. I sighed and had her sit on the couch. I made her some hangover soup and found a box of stomach medicine for her. No way. She was really resistant to taking the medicine, scrunching up her face and refusing it. "Come on, be good or I'll kick you out." I was tired from the day, and my voice had a hint of exhaustion and irritation. She surprisingly quieted down and obediently took the medicine. Thinking of how she never felt safe sleeping alone and would cling to a pillow pitifully, as she crawled into my bed, I decided not to make her sleep on the couch. I took her to the bedroom instead. "I really like Liam." He," she said, wrapping her arms around my waist and giving my cheek a small kiss. Half asleep, half serious, her words hit my heart like a pebble in a pond, creating ripples. Soon, I heard her steady breathing. She slept facing me, her forehead against my shoulder, unconsciously nuzzling me. The next day, Elena woke up with a slight headache, rubbing her temples. When she saw me working at the desk, her eyes lit up with delight. She peeked under the covers to see herself still in her clothes, which made her a bit disappointed. Was she not attractive enough? "Awake? Morning. Go wash up." "Liam, did we sleep together last night?" I thought about it and decided we'd better clear the air. "We slept in the same bed, so we needed an explanation. So what are we now? What do you think?" "A couple?" she asked hopefully. "Correct. Your prize is some porridge on the dining table. Better hurry before it gets cold," I said without looking away from my script. Ecstatic, she gave me a quick peck on the cheek with her morning breath, then went off to wash up happily. I wiped the spot she kissed, a warm feeling spreading through my heart. She's truly adorable. When I went out, I saw Elena, brushing her teeth with one hand while typing on her phone in the other. She didn't want to keep the relationship secret. She said, "I worked hard to set this up in the show. I don't want to be anonymous. In college, you wouldn't go public, keeping everyone unaware. I wouldn't have had to work so hard." Thinking about it, she had a point. Back then, I didn't want people asking questions, thought it was a hassle, and felt like a relationship was just between 2 people. But it seems Elena sees it differently. A few weeks later, the director released promo shots, and Elena and I made it official. A roundabout reunion is the beginning of romance. Elena, I'll run to you without hesitation this time. Every time. The internet blew up. As the main person involved, I couldn't even get a word in. Honestly, I thought fans shipped Elena and me just a bit, but if we actually dated, there might be backlash. I'm nearing 30, still popular, but not as much as before, while Elena is at the peak of her career. Surprisingly, her fans took it well. Some of my solo fans had little complaints, but no major objections. "Liam, why the frown? Don't tell me you regret this," she exclaimed, seemingly upset and a bit hurt. "Can't regret it, it's official now." Watching her sulk, I noticed she was becoming more lively, just like in college. Happiness really can make you feel younger. We got asked for a joint interview. "Have you ever considered marriage?" the reporter asked. "Dating without marriage in mind is messing around unless both are just playing," Elena answered. "How has life changed before and after dating?" "Don't need to cook for myself, and I don't have to undress myself," I answered. My hand got tired, so I switched the mic to the other hand and let go of Elena's. Her eyes dimmed slightly, but thankfully she didn't change seats. Would you want your kids to be more like you, or your partner? As the reporter asked, I realized I hadn't considered if Elena wanted kids. I hesitated, looking at Elena. She had no particular expression, and nodded for me to answer, ready to accept whatever I said. If Elena wants kids, I hope they're like her, warm and kind. If she doesn't, I don't want her to go through the ordeal if it's not what she wants. I'd love to have kids too, she added. Maybe one like you and one like me. Wouldn't that be nice? Elena smiled warmly at me like a little winter sun. The reporter grinned. So sweet. Do you think getting back together means the relationship changes? Yes, Elena answered immediately. It strengthens my commitment to us. The reporter nodded. Next is the fan Q&A. First was a girl. Liam, both you and Elena are huge stars and very busy, especially Elena. So how do you maintain your relationship? Won't it fade? I thought for a moment. No. Elena is busy, but no one's too busy to send a message. Even a simple "I'm busy" takes 3 seconds. Plus she's clingy, constantly checking in and calling so it doesn't fade. Another girl asked, "What if one of you cheats?" My partner wouldn't cheat, saying that would upset her, I replied. This interview was just to stir interest. Boring, but without much impact on us. "Liam, you're 29, right?" she asked one night while hugging me. "Yeah, what's up?" I didn't think she cared about age. A friend of mine got married as soon as they reached the legal age. She gave me a look that wasn't just a hint. It was pretty much clear as day. "Okay, wait till I'm not so busy," I replied, chuckling to myself. I'd been thinking about proposing for a while, but wasn't sure how to bring it up. I figured it needed to be a formal gesture, in a fitting moment. Then this silly girl just handed me the opportunity. Elena was way more excited than me, hugging me tightly for a long time. "Elena, let me go. I have work tomorrow." And then, the next second, she sealed my lips with hers. On Elena's birthday, I finally proposed. Number 99 roses for us? Instead, I folded 99 flowers from dollar bills, kneeled down, and went for it. As cheesy as it sounded, "Elena, would you like to be the leading lady in my life?" "I do." I thought she'd be calm during the proposal, just like when she first asked me out. But I couldn't deny that seeing her sincere, hopeful gaze got me a bit emotional. The wedding was on an island, not flashy at all. Elena's dress was a simple, elegant mermaid style. We got Elena's friend, the popular rapper Jax, to officiate. I was a bit worried he'd start rapping in the middle of it. "Miss Elena, do you take Mr. Liam to be your husband, to share your life with him, forsaking all others?" "I do." "Mr. Liam, do you take Miss Elena as your wife, to cherish and love her for the rest of your days?" "I do." "Now you may kiss the bride." Elena was super nervous and excited at the same time. She usually took the lead when kissing, but now she didn't know where to put her hands. I gently placed her hands on my waist and kissed her. The wedding was a private affair with some close family and friends. We kept it low-key. "Liam, she messed up my plan of being a loner for life." "Elena, that's my husband, my hubby. Liam, you're stuck with me for the rest of your life." "Yep, and I'm all for it."